Christmas. What's going on, everybody?
Oh, man.
Welcome to the No Faces Comic Chat. I'm your host, this one, BUB'S Comics. And with me, as always, are my two cohorts, my partners in crimes, my them there, the spick to my span, DS Comics and Metarog. Say hello, folks.
What's up?
Greetings, everyone.
That'll work. Good to have you guys here again on our first and final and only until next year Christmas episode since the last one.
Okay.
Did you catch all that?
Good.
Sounds good.
DS is writing that down and checking for triple negatives.
I stopped doing that years ago with you.
That's a smart man.
Yeah.
Las Cruces is in the house, 1971. And as in case you guys don't know, 1971 is the birth year of his most recent grandchild. So that's what Las Cruces. No, I don't know. Maybe, probably not though. We got from heroes to icons. We got more Las Cruces and more heroes. Well, it's going to be a short chat. So good to have you all here. The comic generals in the house. We salute you, good friend. And Hidden Gems is here as well. So people are rolling in here. Good to have you here. Look, Las Cruces taking it easy. Look at that. I like to see that.
Yeah, we're competing against the new season, I guess, of Comigories.
Already?
That, and it's on John's channel. So John and JP are emceeing Comigories now. So they're having like a big season opening bash on that. So that's probably going to hurt our viewership, but I don't care. This is fun, and this is more fun than anything else. So I'm here.
When is it already going? Did it start already?
Yeah, started at 8.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll you guys go ahead and keep the show going. I'm going to go watch that.
All right.
You can't abandon. The captain has to go down with the ship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
off Bub's ship is Bub, then the women, and then the children.
He better come back in here, or else I'll ban him over there or something.
Hey, we got Jambo Comics in the house. Good to have you, brother. Good people as always. So, anywho, today we're just gonna shoot the breeze from the people we've got watching. Anybody following along at home. Just checking out what we got going on today with Christmas wise. So, of course, I brought out my two favorite Christmas comics. I don't know that they're my favorite versus the ones that I readily knew where they were in my collection. So that's, always a them there toss up. But we got the Incredible Hulk number 378, where he's battling Santa Claus, I think, again, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that's the first appearance of Santa. But the most shocking thing about this cover is that right there, it's got a price tag on that crowbar for $9.99. I don't think you can get a $10 crowbar these days. So
not unless it's been an estate sale, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably was. You're right. Yeah. And then over here, we got Fantastic Four number 4. So no, this isn't going back to them their silvery age. Nope. But it is from 1997, so it's the probably volume 3 or so?
Volume 2.
Probably volume 2, wouldn't you say, Roger?
Volume 2. So
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Jim Lee, Fantastic Four, reimagined. Yes.
Yes, and aren't they reimagined? I can tell you, I approve of his reimagining of Sue Storm. Very nice.
Well, that is a very lovely cover of her. That's for sure.
Oh, the interior is not bad either. Good stuff.
I've never read it, so I can't say. But
oh yeah, it's great.
I boycotted those. So.
Russ did a random read on that not too long ago. 9,000.
Yeah, but he did a random
read on it maybe a week or so ago.
Yeah, he didn't show the interior though. He went, it was his view, not our view.
Shame on him for not showing the interior.
Well, he did show
down in the house. You know it, Jambo. Good to have you, brother. All right, let's see what our old U-Log over here came up with for Christmas.
Well, I will say in advance, I don't celebrate Christmas. but I'm not anti. I'm not one of those people that gets annoyed if you say it to me. I just don't celebrate it. But this is red and green, and it sort of has the spirit of giving in there somewhere, depending on how you interpret it. So Christmas cover, bang. And I'll tell you, this is a really deep red on this cover. I really like it.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's a good copy. It's probably like a 7.0. It's got some little spots of stain here. It's not too bad. And then it's got a few spine ticks. 7.5 wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't hit an 8, I don't think. But yeah, pretty good looking little copy of Neil Adams cover, early bronze, #1. So yeah, it's a cool book.
Yeah, that kind of that red sometimes is kind of orangish.
Yeah.
Depending on the color strike. So to find a really good red one is not that easy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, as I get more, how do I put this without
older as you get old.
Well, yeah, but as I get sort of more
crotchety is the word you're looking for.
Well, I was going to say sophisticated, but it's not really sophistication because you all know how shallow it is. But I look more for certain things on books that I wouldn't have looked for before. Like before, if this was an 8.5, I'll be like, oh, it's an 8.5. I'll just take the 8.5. But now this one, I almost don't care about the grade as much because I'm looking how deep is the red, how nicely centered is it, other aspects that you might not look at earlier in the hobby that I'm starting to look at, have been for a little bit. But yeah, so a book like this jumps out at me because the color and the centering, it's got a little bit of a overwrap on the top, but not too bad. So I look at those things more than just pure technical grades anymore, and I try to get a more holistic view of the comic, if you will. So this one, I was really, really happy to get one with such good color.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I like it. It's got almost as much color as mine. Mine has a little extra color on the staples. It's a little extra red and orangey staples.
Oh, that's definitely special.
Oh yeah.
mine are just sort of dirty steel colored.
My staples aren't just rusty on my copy, but they were also it looks like someone tried to take WD-40 and clean the rust off the staples.
Ooh. Ooh.
So it has like a translucent clearness that goes all around it through each page.
Well, you can buy this one for the low price of $199.99.
And I got my book for like $15 in a lot. And when I broke it down, that's about all I paid for it.
Yeah, nice.
You remember that one? It was all messed up. And I cleaned it up. Turned out it just had a dry old sticker on it, and it came right up.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was a huge win. I'll take it. Rusty staples and all. I even got it signed. I think it's signed by Neil Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had him sign the log. It's the only place it was like a nice, rich color for the background.
Signed the Yule log, yeah.
He signed the old Yule
log.
Yeah,
I got a Yule log on the cover too. There you go.
Absolutely, and he's definitely
and a Christmas castle.
Christmas castle. You go too far, sir. Let's see what our good old friend. I don't mean to insult him, although age is not an insult, Roger. But let's see what our good, slightly above middle-aged friend has to say about his Christmas. What the heck is that?
Well, I like to bring something to the table that perhaps everybody has seen Tomb of Dracula #1, but
Shots fired.
That's true, and I have never seen that superhero catalog spelled with the British spelling.
Well, I'm being facetious, of course. No, you haven't seen it because probably not too many people care about it, right?
Yeah, but that's one of my most fun parts of the hobby, Roger. You know that is seeing what I've never seen before or showing books that others haven't seen.
So. I appreciate that aspect about you because you're a well-rounded individual as far as that goes.
Now he's making fat jokes. Don't take this lying down, DS.
So this is really interesting. Back in the 70s, there was a shop, okay, that was I believe it was in New Jersey, and they actually, in fact, I think this is the mid 70s or early 70s, and they put out a catalog of. They had like a distributorship, and they put out a catalog of all sorts. This is 77. Of all sorts of comic memorabilia, and they had these out every quarter, and the The Christmas one was one of the bigger ones, and it had everything you can think of as far as Bronze Age goodness, from puzzles to Mego figures to those full size posters, life size posters, pinball machines. You had Batmania, et cetera, et cetera. You had the school supplies.
So is that just a straight ad zine?
Yes. No, there's no comics in here. Yes.
It's cool because all the ads are like comic books.
But what's odd about it is that all the ads are drawn. They're no pictures.
That's cool.
And the reason being is that the school was right by the Joe Kubert School of Art. Oh. So all his students, they would hire them for peanuts to do the interior and save themselves a bunch of money. And as you see here, the shop or the distributorship was Superhero Merchandise in Dover, New Jersey. And I have about 8 or so of these. I think I have a complete set of them. So that was my first offering. I'll show you this one later, but this is the first offering for my Christmas. By the way, you didn't ask what our team name was tonight, I noticed.
Let me think. I don't quite remember what our team name is.
You're the one who put it down.
Yeah, and I thought it was actually a pretty good one for the holiday season. I was going to compliment you on it now.
Yes, what's our team name for tonight?
The North Pollsters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And Roger, what's our topic this evening?
Free chat.
We already knew that because you pay for what you get.
Well, you asked. You're the one who asked. If you knew, you're the one doing the redundancy. I just answered the question.
Well, good deal. Yes, we are the North Pollsters. I thought it was different.
Yeah.
I will bet there are not many of those superhero catalogs out there because that was a throwaway, and that probably has a very, very low population out there in the world. I bet there's not many of them at all. So that is a rare treat to see that tonight, Roger.
Yeah, I was very well. Again, I like searching high and low, and I actually ran across these in a convention years ago where I got about 6 or 7 of them, all 6 or 7 for $1. It was like a little pack, together. And they have a little there's a little order form, and none of them are cut out. And I just enjoy the heck out of them because in this time I was going to school, so I remember using the Mead school supplies, the book covers, all that kind of stuff. So to me, this is major nostalgia.
Nice.
Hey Slim, how you doing, buddy?
Slim's in the house.
And so is
Bill. Yeah, that's something. If I saw that, I don't hunt as high or as low or as often as Roger does, or nearly as effectively. But Roger gets texts from me every couple of months or so when I do find I'm out and I find something interesting. Like if I ran across that, I would definitely send you a picture of it. And so far, in the whatever amount of times I've done it, every response so far has been, "Yep, I have that. It's real cool." One of these days, I'll find something interesting like that you don't have, Roger. Though I will be very pleased when I do. But so far, everything I've sent you pictures of, you already say you have. So,
well, that's one of the few advantages of being in this hobby for 45 years is that you find stuff out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we're glad you did because you get to share it with us too. There's a lot of people. I'm sure people talk about, there's not that many. Look, there's so many collectors out there, but they just don't all share their collection with other people this way. And that's one of the great things about, little YouTube community that we have here is that we get to enjoy other people's collections that have been doing it. And some of the, I enjoy collections that are relatively new and young as much as I enjoy some of the older ones. Did you guys get a chance to see Alan's couple of room tours he put up?
I sure did.
Oh man, talk about some heartbreakers. Good stuff, Yeah,
and the thing with Alan is that he's been collecting longer than I have, and since the late 60s, and he has complete runs of almost every title from the mid 50s through, I believe, the early 90s.
It's very impressive. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Merry Christmas from the Cover Slingers champion.
Yes.
I thought Jambo Comics was the current Slingers champion, or was it?
No, Bill pulled it off this Saturday. I was there. I can witness.
Oh, I missed this Saturday's episode. What was the topic?
What was the topic? I think it was Christmas. Yeah, Christmas comics. Yeah.
Well, as his and then you guys are off next Saturday, right?
I don't know. I haven't. By the way, Bub, your name came up quite a bit because Jambo, I think he's still here, showed a cave woman in the snow with a little what do you call this? Like almost like a little
bikini,
like a jacket with no sleeves,
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I've got that same cover without the jacket.
and Jambo was trying to pass that off as a Christmas cover, and everybody said only Bub would vote for that one.
Well, here's Comic Mag Musings. He gets his double shot, but then he also gets the extra for bringing it all together. Look at that. Good grief.
Charlie
She's trying to stop a car from getting away. What's happening here? Are we quite sure what's happening here? I mean, clearly there's between two cars. One of them's moving, one's not.
Well,
she's got to be trying to
pull the ground because she's holding them off the ground.
Oh, is that what's going on? She's got them lifted?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we need to pan down on that one. I don't think we have.
She's not actually have them lifted, but that's the illusion they're trying to portray. Yes.
Roger, don't shatter our dreams now.
Oh boy.
Leave our youth intact, will you?
Okay. I don't want to be a killjoy. All right.
Hey, what do we got here? We got Mayor videos in the house as well. Videos. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. Good to have you, of course. And so good to see everybody here, really. Look, I was running short on Christmas covers. Bless his heart. Well, I think I'm up again, so I'll take and this isn't really the Christmas show-off, but since it sounds like we're not going to be able to, look at this. Glory and Friends Christmas special.
J. Scott Campbell, I bet.
No, Mike Diodato.
Oh, okay. Well, I would have lost that bet then.
Yeah, I was convinced, Roger, you were right, for sure.
That face looks so much like Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at how she's got his nose. And he's smiling.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you got Santa in the background, right? We assume that's one of his helpers. There's an angry kid trying to give his letter to Santa, but Santa's not paying attention.
Well, I wonder why.
See that?
And the snow melting in her hand.
Yep, the snow's melting in her hands.
I'm assuming that's snow.
It does say Mike Diodato there, 95, okay. I think.
I thought her fondling of the carrot was a bit risque, if you ask me.
I think she's just putting it back on. It probably fell off in the winter breeze.
Yeah, if you say so, bud.
I think that's what's going on there.
Well, he's got the carrot in the one hand and the lump of snow in the other hand.
Very suggestive stuff there. Yeah.
I don't know. You guys you can't appreciate fine art.
Well, if we see it, we can appreciate it.
I would appreciate that more if her head was decapitated, but it's not bad as it is.
Good grief!
A good decapitation cover. That would really make my day.
DS likes those holiday horror movies, like
Night,
Every Night, all that stuff. I can't do that.
I'll tell you, my favorite holiday Christmas horror movie is called Rare Exports. It's a Norwegian film about. Basically, it's like a cooler version of Krampus and more realistic. It's not like a B horror movie. It's really cool. It's called Rare Exports, and it's I don't know. I'm not going to have any spoilers because I'm sure nobody in the chat has seen it. But it's subtitled, obviously, but it's Norwegian, so they don't talk that much. So there's not much reading to the subtitles, honestly. Good effects, really good story. It's a serious kind of story, and it's really, really badass. So I recommend Rare Exports to anybody who wants an interesting horror take on Christmas.
All right.
I'll
like the
write
sound of
that
that.
down. I'll write that down.
It's not very popular, so I think it's free on either Netflix or on demand or Amazon Prime. I think it's still free out there because it's not generally regarded as a popular film, so nobody charges for it. So I bet you it's free.
Okay.
Write that down for me too, Roger.
All right, Rare Exports, got it.
No, he said rear exports. Is it rear imports? I can't read my own notes.
You'll figure it out, bub.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out.
All right, fair enough.
You'll figure it out.
So, all right, DS, you got anything else you want to throw at us besides that rare Christmas gem we need to all hunt down?
No, there's another Norwegian film, though, that I really like. That's the horror movie, but it's not Christmas related. But if you like Rare Exports, check out Troll Hunter. Troll Hunter is one of my favorite movies. And if you've seen Troll Hunter and you like it, check out Rare Exports. But those films sort of go together. They're nice Norwegian films. Yeah, really, really cool. Troll Hunter is another awesome movie.
Now, I got to ask you this. Is it as good as Batman and Robin?
Well, of course, it's not that good.
Oh, man. I was hoping we wouldn't go back
Troll
to
Hunter and Rare Exports are serious films, and Batman and Robin is the best campy film, perhaps of all time. It's one of the best campy films ever, and I love it.
All right.
You can't watch Batman and Robin thinking you're going to watch a good, legit superhero movie, but if you watch it for the camp, it's awesome. And the visual effects are cool. It's got a really cool feel to it. I think it's a Tim Burton film, so it's got that whole Burton feel to it. It's got Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze dropping one-line puns the whole movie, and Robin recording with them. I mean, you cannot beat it. It's awesome.
Those one-liners by Schwarzenegger are excruciatingly bad. I mean, just terrible.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Well, it's sort of like a Plan 9 from outer space terrible. It's so bad that it's good.
Yeah.
But I don't think they intended that movie to be great. I think they intended it to be camp. And
to a certain degree, yes.
Yeah.
True.
I don't think they tried to make a good movie and bombed. I think they tried to make a campy movie and nailed it. So that's my personal opinion, which, like everything else, I'm usually in the minority, and that's fine. Less crowded over here in the minority area.
All right.
All right, Roger, what do you got for us? Oh my gosh, what is this?
This is some people really overdo Christmas a little bit. They just go overboard, and this cover exemplifies that to a good degree. This is actually a Todd McFarlane cover.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of has. Notice the light comes from this candle or whatever down here, and it kind of fades. It's very dark down here, but all these stockings have superheroes on them. Daredevil, Wolverine, Thor, etc., etc. And he's looking at the lists here, I'm assuming. At Spider-Man, he's got the milk here, the cookies. He's got a little elf helper here. Some other very weird-looking elves around here. And all the stockings are full of toys and whatnot. So all these superheroes are in these Marvel holiday specials. They did these in the mid-90s, not just for Christmas, but I think did them for like twice a year, maybe. I'm not exactly sure, but I know at least they did them a couple a year. So, and then there's also this one here, which is a wreath, and then you have your baubles here, your ornaments, and Spidey with his Santa hat and sack, and the little bow down here. So I just thought they were cute. This is a George Perez cover, actually.
I know I didn't like it.
Ha. So these are just little cute. They're they're not that common because they're, obviously the stories are not in continuity. They're not canon or anything like that. They're just kind of situational Christmas and holiday themed stories. So
Pretty cool though. I like it. Here's I'll throw this since he's showing data one. I'll show this one, a Marvel Holiday Dare special, and it says, "Stop that bearded man!" Yeah, no one gives me a lump of coal and lives, bub. Look at that.
That's a wraparound cover, isn't it?
It is.
That's pretty vicious. He's out to kill Santa.
Oh, they're all out to kill him.
Yeah, I think Santa's running away on the other side, right? I remember I used to have a copy of that. Yeah, there he is.
Look at him go, man. He can't get away fast enough. Rudolph ran so hard he lost his red nose. You dropping packages?
Yeah, wouldn't you? I mean,
Yeah.
that's Captain Ultra up there. I mean, that's scary.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Yeah, poor Santa. He's getting the old Marvel chase, as they call it. All right. So, that's the only one of those that I have other than my treasuries of that. But that's the only one of that.
My treasuries are deep buried, so I didn't bring those out.
Did you put them in jars in the backyard or something? Or
no, I wanted to make sure, how they're kind of fragile because of how big they are, and they could flop over. So I have them like wrapped up like in a big cardboard, and then I put shrink wrap, and then I put bubble wrap, and I put them in this double corrugated box, and that's in the closet in the corner, and I have to take out half the closet to get to it at this point. So that'll be for next year.
I don't blame you. Let's see. We've got.
Oh.
Hello? What happened?
We've got some primate pruning, some primate.
Oh no! When you said that they were big and they might flop over, then I just thought of that.
Oh, I got you.
All right. What's DS got for us?
I don't have any Christmas comics, but this
That's
one's
okay.
pretty cool.
Looking at this feels like Christmas.
Yeah, all new 8, Alex Schomburg. I've always sort of kept an eye out for this book. I didn't think I would get one, but I got lucky. And ever since I've had it, it grows on me more and more the longer I have it. And I really, really love this book. Very tough to find and just a super cool Alex Schomburg book. The Harvey Schomburg stuff, All New and Speed, are very tough to come by, and some of them are as good as the Timelies that Schomburg did. Now, not every Timely, obviously. The top books would be the Timelies, but this type of book matches up well or better than a lot of the Schomburg Timely covers that are much easier to find. So, really happy to score this, and it's I've had offers on this that are pretty high, and I'm surprised I've said no, but I just really like this book. There's very few books, you guys know that, I won't let go for the right price. This one, I have refused the right price on several occasions already. So, I like this book if I'm not selling it. So, anyway.
So that was a great Christmas present, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at it from the Christmas perspective.
Yeah, I'll give you a close-up of it.
Yeah, please do.
Look at that.
So real busy cover. Let's go. This is 1944, so this is towards the end of the war. Later in the war, I should say. And it's sort of people have called it the poor man's Suspense 3. It's not quite in that category, but it does have lifting up the sword to stab down on the woman. That's on Suspense 3. That's the element it really shares in common other than the both Schomburgs. But really, there's no comparison between those two books. But this is awesome in its own right.
But I do like the way the hero is portrayed on this cover better. It's more dynamic. It's more centered, more focused than that. Than Suspense 3. So I like it. I actually quite like it. I can see why people giving you bids on this because it's spectacular.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I love it. And, this is one of those books that you sort of, it's out there somewhere and you're not going to be able to afford it or get to it quick enough, or to pass hands privately and you'll never get shot at it. And then all of your obsessive searching on eBay pays off one day when this pops up for an affordable price when you have the budget and you jump on it. And total luck of the draw. I put in hours and hours and hours a week on eBay searching relentlessly, and it makes it all worth it when you score something like this. So,
absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think too that two things happen when you're hunting down a book for a long time. Not necessarily that one, but if someone's hunting for that book, you know how it can be. Especially when they come up so rarely, is that one of two things happen. Either my willingness to pay the top dollar solidifies, my unwillingness rather. I'm like, no, I'm not going to pay it. That's it. I'm never going to pay it.
Right.
Price keeps going up. I refuse. Or the opposite. And then when I finally see it, I'm like, now that's about $200-300 more than I wanted to pay, but
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't seen one in a year. This might be my only chance,
Well, this is the only one I've ever seen for sale is this one. There are 18 on the census, and there's not really any data on GPA or anything. So this was listed by a very well-known dealer, especially of Golden Age stuff too. So, he knew what it was.
Yeah.
But, without a reference point and being a big dealer and having to know so many books and so many different genres, you can't keep up with everything.
Oh, there's got to be a diminishing return of researching every single book.
Right. And, so he made his best estimate at what a fair price of this would be, and it's far below what I've been offered for it. So, I just took a stab in the dark on it, but I know this category pretty well. So I got a good gut feel that price was super, super reasonable. I had no doubt in my mind it was a very, very good price. So I jumped on it. And there's 18 on the census. There are, the highest grade is only a 7.5. There's only 6 higher. So it's one of the highest graded copies, and there's less than 20 on the census. So it's a very sought after book among people who collect this type of stuff.
It's probably even a lot less than that, because if you resubmit it, don't they put another one on the census?
Yeah, I don't know how many of these. Yeah, it's possible it's lower than that. I'm not sure how many of these would have been resubmitted, because there are just so few out there to begin with that I think people who sent them in just pretty much keep them. Maybe like one of the 6.0s or 6.5s maybe was resubbed after a press.
Hey, Diaz, I've got an idea. So you know how you usually send in if you crack and press or whatever, you'll send in the old label, right?
Yeah, I save them up and then I send a bunch in at once. Yeah.
Do you ever catalog those old labels, to know what the numbers were?
No, I don't work for CGC, so I'll do my part as a collector and I'll send them back the labels, and then they throw them in the trash. Fine. If not, fine. I just do my part. I'm not too worried about it. I don't keep track or record them.
Well, I was just saying it would be nice if you kept track of maybe 2 or 3 of them, and then wait. I don't know, what would be a reasonable time? 2-3 months, maybe, or maybe even a year, and then look up that book. Just look up the number, right? Because you can look them up.
Yeah.
See if it's a valid number, and it should come up invalid. It should be wiped clean from their system. When you put that number in, it should come up nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. But my experience has been when I was on the very active in the CGC boards, actually somebody did exactly that. They experimented, and oftentimes they would not do that. They would just add another number, and it would look like it's another graded copy, but it actually was the same copy. In fact, somebody sent it in 3 times, and all 3 numbers were still there, months afterwards.
Yeah, look, I don't. The census, like anything else in the hobby, it's a guide, but none of it's gospel, and I don't follow anything exactly what it tells me to do, whether it be GPA or the census or key collector app or whatever. those are just guides to help you inform your way on your own path. So if, I send a label in on a book and I don't really care if they change it, because even on a Hulk 181, it might be off by a couple hundred. But I mean, you could, when I look at the census for a Hulk 181, what that tells me is there's a lot of them. Oh, I don't necessarily need to know how accurate it is, but there's probably been, I don't know how many Hulk 181 resubs there's been, 1,000 maybe, I don't know, a lot. So those numbers are inflated, but there's still like 10 or 12,000 on the census or something. So it's a lot. You don't need to know exactly, but for books like this, it's pretty well known if somebody resubs a 7 and it goes to an 8, or the 7.5 is resubbed and drops, and now the 7.5 is no longer there. It's not the highest graded. People in the community for these books will know that, whether CGC changes it or not. But I don't deal with top of the census books, so I never have anything that's the highest graded, and I just use it for sort of a guide as to how common that book is or how rare it is. So maybe there's 16 of these out there, maybe there's 18, whatever. I mean, there's not many, so that's good enough for me.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, lunchtime's in the house. Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome. Good to have you. Very, very nice that you could join us this evening or this morning, whatever suits you.
This morning for him.
I think it's this morning, yeah. Let's see who's up. Is it Roger? What's he got? Oh, now we're getting some more traditional. Boy, that looks almost as cluttered enough to be another Perez cover, is it?
But hey, you behave.
It's a simple question. It's a yes or no question, Roger. Is it cluttered enough to be another Perez cover? Yes or no?
It's not a Perez cover.
It's not cluttered enough. It's not cluttered enough to be a Perez cover. Okay.
Well, I would not say cluttered. I would say it.
But you have
a lot of elements in it. He has a talent for drawing a lot of elements very well.
Okay. No. He has a habit of drawing a lot of elements on the same cover. I don't know.
Yeah, don't let him get you, Roger, because he didn't say anything about the Schomburg, and Schomburg is just as crowded as.
Because Schomburg has a talent for drawing a lot of elements.
Okay. Sometimes you can't argue with people because there's no way you're going to be changing their opinion no matter what you say.
That's true.
I'm just going to continue on with the action. This is not a Perez cover, I don't think. Well, he might be right though. Hold on. No, this is definitely not a Perez cover. Definitely not a Perez cover.
But you had to check.
But I had to check because I wasn't sure. Marvel didn't do these a lot. Didn't do this a lot during the Bronze Age. They didn't actually have a lot of in a series Christmas specials.
Yeah.
They did have this one, and they did have one I remember for the X-Men, which I'm going to show in a little bit. But this one is definitely, it's a special Christmas issue, even though it was in April, but 3 months before that is when it was distributed, so toward the end of December. But I've always liked this cover. It sort of reminds me of Babes in Toyland versus, the Fantastic Four or the Thing. Just got every toy. You got the Puppet Master down here. Every toy you can think of, classic toys, you got drummer boys, you've got these, Prussian guys, you got these elephants, you got polar bears, beef eaters, carousel, everything.
Did you say beef eaters?
Beef eaters, yeah.
What's a beef eater?
The beef eaters are
Aren't I a beef eater?
The imperial guards over in UK.
They're called beef eaters?
In the past, yes.
I did not know that.
He's too young, Roger. These youngins, their education.
Oh, shut up, BS. You didn't know it either until he just told you.
The education for these youngsters is really lacking, Roger.
If it was some obscure Norse noir, I believe that you would have known it. But you didn't know that beef eater shit. You're barking up the wrong tree, mister.
Oh, hold on a second. You guys got me on that one. Oh, man.
All right. Let's see. Who's next?
Oh,
hey, look. We got everybody's favorite art germ. It's in the title. It's infectious. I collected a bunch of these books, Roger, just so we could have our Christmas special. So I'm really looking forward to them joining the pile of books that are leaving my collection next week.
Hold on to them for next year.
No, I can't have them in my collection for a whole nother year. They're taking up too much space.
Oh my gosh, really?
I think so. Except for the harder to find ones. Yeah.
You can put a few boxes on the side of the cabinet.
Well, I'm thinking about doing that anyway, just to separate out my more risque books from the collection.
So the cabinet would be the risque, and the boxes in the cabinet would be the
Oh, what a bum. That was good. That was a good one, Roger. I think that was the burn of the night. Yeah. No, I figure I probably have a little over it depends. I would think probably all the Cavewoman books, other than maybe the original run, I would probably consider to be risque. They're not all some are worse than others, but I don't want to have to go through each one and determine it that way. So I'll probably take them all out. There's a couple more here and there that are a little bit too much, so put them all in a separate box and hide them under the bed.
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't think you hide them because you show them on YouTube. So
yeah, just briefly. They're not hidden, but if somebody comes and sifts through my collection, they don't need to be, startled in that way. Look at that. Catwoman pulling out a little kitty cat ornament. She's opening up a present after knocking out Santa Claus. So she's knocked out Santa Claus and she's stealing a present. What a bad kitty.
That's not Adam Hughes cover?
No, it's Art Germ. Don't insult her that way. Oh, goodness.
I tell you, she's a thief, So Christmas is ripe for the picking. Ripe for the picking.
Easy for you to say. What do you got there, DS?
Well, one of the rare modern comics that I own, Neil Adams cover. This is the variant for Salvation Run 7 from 2008. I don't know. It's a really cool, sort of hard to find cover by Neil Adams. And this one actually was produced in 2 parts. He drew the hands as a separate piece than the face, and they were overlaid when they made the cover. So for the original art out there's 2 pieces. There's the piece with just the hands, and then there's the rest of it. But I don't know. I mean, it's got a good DS quality to it. The Joker with the bloody hands. Obviously bright colors. It's a brand new book for me, 2008. So just a really bright, vibrant, shocking, sort of creepy cover with the Joker on it. And I don't know. It's a Neil Adams book. There are some moderns I like, and they're few and far between, but this is one of them. I've just always liked this book. And I actually got this from Comically Flawed. Adam sold me this. He was selling a bunch of stuff. I think he still is, downsizing and everything. So I made a deal on a few books, including this one. Nice. Yeah, cool book, and it's tough to find this variant cover. So yeah.
I sold that book earlier this year. I picked it up in a collection, and I came across a Batman collector, and he jumped on it, like just took it right out of my hands. So the same day. It never got cataloged. It was never in my collection. It was the same day. I didn't know that was a really hard to find book. So in fact, I had 2 people fighting over it, and but one of them had dibs on it. So yeah, that's a big book for a Batman collector. They love that book. Yeah,
and I have no idea what it's worth. I know what I paid, and compared to the normal stuff I buy, this was cheap no matter what. So I don't know. I paid what I felt was a fair price for this book, which for me wasn't a lot, but I don't know what it's worth. I might have overpaid. I might have got a great deal. I don't know, but one that I had an eye out for a while, and you just don't see it very often. So, when it's something like that and it's affordable, this is not like a lot of my books are investment books. I lay out a lot of cash for them. Something like this is just because I like it and I felt comfortable with the price. I have no idea. I don't even remember what I paid for it. I just remember thinking, yeah, that sounds reasonable. So I don't know. But yeah, it's a cool book.
Cool. Me likey. All right. Hey, Discovery Bay's in the chat. Where did he go?
He's there.
For a minute, I almost said Cheddar Bay, but those are biscuits, aren't they? From Red Lobster? Yeah. Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Haven't got the Red Lobster in 20 years.
They're still got the same lobster in there praying every day you don't show up. So he's got his hands together like that. So,
Oh, man.
What do you got there, Roger? I see a Christmas tree.
There you go. A Christmas tree right back here. And again, this is one of those rare Christmas specials inside of the series that Marvel did during the Bronze Age. I believe this is the last Byrne issue in his and Claremont's famous run. Really good story here, actually, where Kitty Pryde takes on this alien kind of, not kind of, alien or demon. I forgot which one it is. And she just keeps phasing through until the X-Men who are out of town or something come in at the end. Really cool little story. Again, very Christmas theme. You had they were gone to pick up her parents, actually, that they were surprising her with. So again, a very cool little Christmas story and special that you just didn't see that much during the Bronze Age, during especially Marvel. DC had a few more, but not too many Marvels.
Nice. I like it. I can dig it. Well, I wonder where they all went out of town and left her alone. That's not very nice on Christmas.
Well, that was the pretense. They actually went to pick up her parents from the airport to surprise her during Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. All right, what do we got? We got I'm digging into treasuries now. That's how bad it's got, folks.
Yeah, that's okay.
There's the giant superhero holiday bag grab. As Roger knows well.
Oh yes, I got
Roger. You've got a copy of this bag grab, don't you?
I sure do. And in the back, they're running away. Yep.
Coming through the what do you call it? The wreath. Coming through the wreath.
Through the wreath, yeah.
Coming through the wreath.
It's sort of a reverse angle of the
that's cool.
cover.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. You don't see too many covers like that.
No,
in treasuries. The treasuries, they did a few like that. There's one where the Defenders are on it in the same kind of dynamic with Howard the Duck. You see his little tail feathers in the back.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen that one before. You're right.
Like, in this book, always, like, when I see it, I always think it's damaged because it looks like the corner's missing.
Yeah, I thought so on mine as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
just,
not.
That's the way they did the masthead. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's a very cool, and it's got reprints from a lot of the Christmas stories, like Marvel Team Up 1, I think, is in there. I forgot which other ones are in there, but yeah, I read that like every year.
Yeah, that's America's ass, I think, is what they say.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know anybody said that, but you. Okay.
No, that's the thing.
There are a couple references to that in the Endgame movie, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hey, I don't make this stuff up. I just report the news, Roger. I don't make the news.
Right, but the way you frame the news is what I'm talking about.
Well, I got to sell sponsorships. I mean, what do you want from us? This ain't no charity.
Well, BUB'S, as we learned, in that that group chat that I bolted from the other day, I'm sure people had some comments to say about me, Bub, but
oh, you never know.
But people trying to build a brand and get subs and all that. So yeah, you need to keep it fresh, Bub. Keep your sub count up. Keep that brand going. So feel free to editorialize.
I guess.
Oh, LB Cole coming up.
Yeah, this feels like a Christmas cover to me, honestly.
It does feel like a Christmas cover,
right? Yeah, I don't know. It feels like a Christmas cover to me. But another tough one, there's more on the census for this than that all new, but it comes up for sale rarely because nobody ever comes off their copy, I think. Blue Bolt 105 from 1950, and just one of the best sci-fi covers from the golden age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just an LB Cole classic. And I
Reminds
looked a year for this.
Reminds me of Star Trek. That green
Yeah.
lady at the bottom.
Yeah, that woman. Yeah.
Yeah, and the colors are pretty good on this. I mean, it's a decent copy. It actually looks better than a 4.5 because on the back there's a chunk missing.
Oh.
That hurts the grade a little bit. But other than that, from the front's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. It's a really nice book. One of my favorite LB Cole books. One of my favorite sci-fi covers. Very tough to find. And yeah, decent little copy here. I paid up for this, but the very next day, one sold on the CGC boards for like 15% higher than what I paid for this one, same grade. So, and I think mine's definitely better looking than that one. So I feel like I got a good deal on this. Yeah, I don't know. Blue Bolt 105.
Man, did anybody draw a Starscape better than LB Cole? I mean,
man, I don't think so. He's got Contact 12.
Contact 12. Oh man, that is so cool, isn't it?
Yeah. And the Blue Bolt 108 is that black cover. That's got a good Starscape on it.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Arrow 26 has that like cotton candy feel to it. That's
I don't like that one as well as Contact 12. That's the one that's my top of the list.
Contact 12 is like is like perfection, really. It's the paragon of Starscapes as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think my next the next favorite Cole sci-fi for me is probably Flight 11.
I can't think of that one. I have to look that up.
I'll show you a picture of it here. Let me find it.
Is that the one with the spaceship, kind of cylindrical spaceship?
Well, that's on a few of them.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I didn't really narrow it down. I think
that's bad. I'll show you my Planet Comics run. There's a lot of cylinders bursting.
Yeah, I think you're right, Roger. It's this one.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking about.
Yeah, so that's Flight 11. It's got a robot on it too.
Yeah.
A little more three-dimensional than the Contact 12 is a little flat but striking. I like it. But this
he does like an S move on the Contact 12, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it's got a lot of just bright primary colors and shapes, and it's sort of two-dimensional, but it's very cool. I like it. This one's probably my second favorite Cole sci-fi. And then, I like Blue Bolt 108, Contact 12, and Captain Arrow 26. I had a Captain Arrow 26 and a Blue Bolt 108, and I sold both of them with hopes that later on down the road I can get better copies of those. The Blue Bolt 108 is pretty easy to find. The Captain Arrow is a little tougher. And the Contact 12, really, I probably will be the last one I ever get because it sells for a lot more than I'm willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
I think most people agree with you guys that it's his best, and so it goes for a lot. So, yeah, that'll be a while before I get one of those because I'm not paying what it goes for.
Yeah. Ever since the Gerber Guide came out, that comic has been sought after by high-end collectors. So that's why it's so expensive, just because it's a long time of people looking for it.
Yeah. So this was lower on my list than most people's, so they pay up for it, and I'm not willing to. But yeah, it's definitely cool, and I definitely want it. But all in good time. The hunt, the challenge, the slow, steady progression of the collection is what's fun for me. So I'm not in a hurry. I stopped doing want lists, a couple years ago, and I don't target things, but when they come up, I will choose whether that's the right thing to get or not. And then, I pass on a lot more things than I used to just because it's not the right time or it's not the right book or whatever. So, I'll get one eventually. And, these books come around. Even the rarest of books come around, like Blue Bolt 108. I've had a copy of that. The Captain Arrow 26, I had 2 copies of that. Yeah, I had a 3.0 and a 3.5, and I just want a nice solid mid-grade because I really like that book. So, I'm not worried. It'll come back. I've seen a couple since then, and it just wasn't the right timing. So, yeah, you just got to be patient and stick to your plan and know what you're doing, and then try to stay disciplined, which is tough because we see stuff, we want to buy it, and I still do that.
Well, we were talking about Alan earlier, Alan Garrett. I'm sorry, we should have said that. What's his YouTube channel's name?
After Comics.
After Comics, yes.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Alan Garrett, After Comics, and one of the things he does, and it's funny because he says it every year, right, Roger? Every year he puts out a video explaining what he's going to do for the next 3 months, which is essentially nothing. So he completely goes, DS, you'd hate it. He completely goes on blackout. He deletes all his want lists, all his saved notifications, and saved searches and all that. He completely wipes all of that out, and then goes on a buying freeze for the months of January, February, and March.
Yep, every year.
Every year.
Yep.
Every year.
That makes sense. I can dig that, but I don't know that I could do it. It would be too hard for me to do. But man, mad respect for anybody who can do that, though. That is a pretty good idea, but I don't think I could ever do it.
I don't think I could either, because I was telling him earlier, the longest I've ever gone is like 3 weeks, and I start itching and scratching over that. And although you can say, oh, well, but you don't know what you're missing, so it's a little easier, which I guess is his approach to it. But the issue is that as soon as that 3 months was up, like on April 1st, the first thing I would do is look at sold items for the last 3 months on eBay. Like I would instantaneously put in whatever book I'm looking for, check sold items, and see how much it sold for 2 months ago, and just be so mad. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what I do is I just keep an eye out for stuff. Flip books are different. If I find flip books, I'll just buy them. I'll buy a collection, or I'll buy a book on eBay or whatever, and just to flip it. I don't whatever on that. That's just whatever I find. But for like PC books, I just work on a budget. I keep an eye out on auction houses and eBay, and I just keep an eye out. And you get a feel after a while for knowing when is the right time to pull a trigger. And there's a lot of good stuff that comes up all the time, and most of it I let go, and of the rest of it, most of it I miss out on. And then occasionally I score one these days. But it's always a rock solid book that I get these days. So, I just keep an eye out, and I stay patient and disciplined. And, just know if you miss something, it means you'll be able to get something else. So you're not really ever missing anything. It's just, what are you going to get? So I try to be very selective these days. And it makes it difficult to watch good books go by, even especially if they're rare. But there's always more on the horizon. Every time I watch an auction like Comic Link and there's an awesome book in there I want, and I miss it, invariably the next Comic Connect auction or Heritage auction has something just as good or better, and it's a never-ending string of awesome stuff out there. So you're never really missing out. It's just, what do you want to get for yourself? And you just have to figure a way to get the best stuff for yourself. So, I pass up tons of awesome stuff, and I miss out on tons of other awesome stuff. But then when I get something, it's worth it,
Yeah, and I think part of the feeling as a collector is that constant. I don't want to call it akin it to any kind of narcotics, but it's an overwhelming feeling of accomplishment every time I just pick up one more thing that I've been wanting for some time. I just like, yes, I've done it. I've got one. I'm so excited. Yeah. And that feeling, depending on how big it is, like how many times I don't know about you guys, but there's been a few times that I've got a book and I've really felt like, am I done collecting? Like, did I do it? Did I satisfy myself so much that I never have to buy another book? And don't worry, it doesn't last long,
Nope.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't. Look, the way I see it is, there are more books than I have resources. So I'm always missing out on stuff. If you look at it that way, like I have a very, compared to the number of books that are out there to get, the amount of money and resources I have to get them is minuscule. So you're missing out on 99.999% of everything out there anyway. So just be selective and be patient and pick up stuff here and there that's really special to you. And if you try to catch everything, you drive yourself insane. You're never going to even come close. There's so much stuff out there all the time. You can't even come close. So just try not to let the market and the the groupings of books that are out there set the pace for you. Set your own pace and just go with it. And if you try to keep up with the hobby, you're going to fall behind instantly. You never catch up. You'll be eternally frustrated. And that's how it used to be. And I know I see a lot of collectors are like that. If FOMO with modern books is part of this phenomenon that I'm talking about, just let it go, man. Just set your own pace, pick your own goals, and then just go forward at your own pace that you can do with whatever resources and time or preferences you have, and just do your own thing, man. You can't keep up with this hobby. There's too much stuff out there. It's like a tidal wave.
Yes, there's two things going on there that you've touched on that I just want to also touch it if Roger will let me. But
yeah, I want to hear both of your thoughts on what I said and this kind of thing. And yeah, this is a good discussion. So yeah, go for
it. Just quickly, I agree. I think that there's competing ideologies at work when it comes to the FOMO in the modern market, which of course he means fear of missing out for those of you who thankfully don't suffer from such. So I think the problem is that you have one group of collectors, right? Say us, right? Not counting Roger. Say DS and I, right? Who are like, well, if you're buying a modern book, don't have this fear of missing out, because look, every book that we picked up, I mean, there's literally still AF-15s for sale right now. If you've got the means, there's an AF-15 for sale right now. So don't tell me that these books disappeared and you'll never see them again. You know, and you can tell me that this super, super, super rare. Yes, but also how actually desirable is that book long term? Is that truly a key just because people are all clamoring to buy it right now? No. The other issue, though, you know, the opposite, the flip side of that argument is that you have collectors like Roger, who if he tried to take his average comic budget today, right, and apply it to all the key books that he has in his collection at modern prices for those key books, he probably wouldn't buy any of them because he picked them up off the rack. So at the same time that we're praising all these collectors for picking books up off the rack, that's the smart way to do it, right? Get it when it first comes out. Then you have to understand how new collectors, and I'll say new collectors, I don't care if you're hunting modern books and and you get that FOMO, and that's why you're paying $50-$60 for a book the day after it hits. To me, you're a young collector, which is fine, but just know where you're at. Then those guys, they're like, well, I'm picking it up off the newsstand, but I'm picking it up as it comes out. But unfortunately, it's a lot higher than the 15 cents you had to come off of in 1965. So I mean, I get both sides of that argument, and so I just kind of say, well, if that's how you really feel, then make sure this is the book that will complete you 20 or 30 years from now. When you look at your collection, are you going to look at this book and say, thank goodness I picked this off the rack, or not? It's like these people have never dug in every book in a dollar bin and a quarter bin was once a new book. And now when you look at them, these books are selling. Yes, if you get a 12-cent book, it's probably not selling for 12 cents. But most of the books are selling for $1 in a dollar bin these days have a price tag of $2, $3, or $4. So, you can't have a fear of missing out on all that when 90-something% of the books that are coming out every week have zero collectability. You can't feel like you're always missing out. So that's just my feeling on it. Try and remember that somewhere 20, 30 years from now, this book's going to be floating around a dollar bin. And if you can get your mind around that, then maybe you won't, lose your house trying to chase some modern variant. That's all I have to say. This message brought to you by Metarog.
Public service announcement.
Yeah.
Right here. Yeah, good advice, I think, overall. I respect anybody who is a collector of comics, really. I mean, there's so many different ways you can do, your own little thing in this hobby, right? And I certainly don't think that anybody or everybody should do it the way I do it, right? And in fact, that would be a very boring place if that would be the case. But I really only am in this hobby because of my love for the actual medium and the stories and art behind it. I mean, Those who do things like investments and things like, or look for the hottest book, God bless them. But I don't understand that mentality. If I don't like it here, if I don't like something, it's like food, right? If I don't like it, I don't eat it. And if I don't like a comic, I don't have it. It's just that simple. And if I do like it and I can't afford it, I do without. Because there's so many other options. There's so many more things on the menu that you can have, that if there's one thing or a couple that you can't have because they're just ridiculously priced, I do without, because to me it's not worth it. It's not good stewardship of my resources. So anyway, off my soapbox there.
Yeah, and to what Bub was saying about, I got back into the hobby 5 or 6 years ago or whatever, and Roger's been doing it for 40 years straight. I'm not trying to keep pace with Roger. I'm pacing myself based on my own sort of deck of cards that I've dealt myself in the hobby. And yeah, everyone has a different situation, different amount of time they've been in the hobby, different stuff they're looking for, different budgets. And you have to sort of be honest and assess your own resources and your own goals. And then you have to creatively figure out a way to be on your own path. Some people don't have the means, just got back into the hobby, and all they want are all the Marvel Silver Age keys. Okay, that is a lofty goal. It is doable. But if you're going to do that, you're not spending $40 a week on your pull list for new stuff. You are figuring out ways to flip books, saving money, not buying that extra pair of pants. You know what I mean? You gotta do little things depending on your own situation. I'm not trying to keep pace with Roger. I can't do it. I would have to go back in time, which I would love to do, and then I could maybe do it. But aside from that, I have the hand that I'm dealt sort of in the hobby, and I work within my own system, and I try to maximize what I'm doing for myself, and I'm not trying to keep pace or compare myself to other collectors or worry about the market or the hobby. Yeah, some things are way overpriced. If you really want a Hulk 181 and you don't have a lot to work with, yeah, that's tough. You can maybe get a really low grade, maybe get an incomplete copy. Maybe you can sell some other books that you don't like as much and save up some money. If it's that important to you, maybe you forego a few hundred other books over the course of a year and a half and you get the Hulk 181. There's things you can do, and you just have to sort of figure out your own goals and what you want your collection to be, and do it that way. But if you're comparing yourself to other collectors and trying to maintain a pace or style of other collectors or the hobby in general, you will be eternally frustrated, and then it becomes sort of less fun to be in the hobby, and people get frustrated. And a lot of people leave the hobby because of that, and they lose interest. I've seen that happen with really astute collectors. They just are trying to keep pace with everything else, and they lose interest because it's too frustrating. So yeah, I mean, look, there's tons of awesome, huge books I would like. I can't get them all. I work my way up, and I don't pick up that many books. So that's how I do it. If I had more money, I would pick up more books. If I was a millionaire, I'd pick up everything. Those are the ones that are beating me out on auctions because they don't give a crap. They've got the money and they want the books, so I miss out. So that's fine. That's not how. I'm not trying to keep pace with millionaires who are into rare golden age. I can't do it. So
when I'm looking at my books, one of the things that disturbs me is the necessity of high grade for value. That bothers me because other than it being a complete wreck of a book, right? Now, I'm not talking about your 0.5s or your 1.5s or 1.8 or even a 2.0. But if that book has almost no value in a 4.0, then does it really have any value at all?
Well, I mean, how are you defining value? Not everybody is collecting for monetary value is as shallow as me. Some people are collecting for the love of the books, the love of the character.
Modern variants are all about monetary value. You can't tell me. I love it when people are like, oh, that book is fire. That book is hot. That book is fire. Every book is fire? Really? Every week, there's 90% of the books come out are fire and hot, and they're all pinup covers? Like, how does that work? Oh, but it's a 9.8 white pages. Okay, so what if it's a 9.4? Oh, it loses 99% of its value when it drops to a 9.4. Like 8.5, which is still near mint, right? You get all the way down to 8.5. Oh my gosh, what a piece of junk. I don't pay for that book. You know, it's like, oh my god, how are these still? If the book has almost no value in mid grade monetarily, collectible value in mid grade, then it can't possibly be a truly valuable book. Because if it's not a 9.8 or nothing, then that book probably had no value to begin with, and it will come down to
the modern game is so different because the modern market is so far removed from like what I collect in the golden age. The modern market is chasing 9.8s and staying. It's like a surfer trying to stay on top of the best wave forever, and everybody's chasing the top of these waves constantly. And to get the 9.8, to get that perfect hang 5 inside the tube or whatever surfers do. I think that's probably accurate terminology. But yeah, it sounds good, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's totally.
It's a different game. I mean, people are chasing 9.8s, and it changes so quick, and it's a whole different market. I think people that are in that like the pace of it for the most part. They like the pace. It's a very fast-paced sort of club life in the modern game. And that's appealing and fun, and it allows a lot of connection and going back with friends and doing auctions, and it's a really fast-paced, fun sort of NASCAR version of comics. But it's not long-lasting because when you get from one thing, you move quickly on to the next thing. Every few days, there's the next thing, so you're always chasing the next wave. It's just a different style of collecting, and it's cool. There's nothing wrong with it, but I think anybody who's participating in that game and thinks they're building value is going to be a little disappointed down the road. Now, that doesn't mean no modern books have a value going down the road, but you just might get lucky here and there by getting one that has value down the road. And I'm talking, 10 years down the road. So I think most of these people are doing it either know it's not for value or are mistakenly thinking it's for value, despite the fact that there are some pockets of value here and there in every market, including moderns. But, when you get to rare golden age, it's a slow wave, and it just try to keep your head above water and, grab one thing here and there. And it's a lot more value investing. There's a lot more time between pickups, and it's very slow paced. It's like a turtle. It's just a totally different style of collecting, but value is sort of independent from the way people are collecting sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that it surprises me, kind of the short-sightedness of it all when it's like, I don't think that there's really any long-term speculation going on anymore. It's just all extremely short-term speculation, and then the confusion that if you hold on to something, that all of a sudden makes it a long-term speculation. You're going to hold on to a lot of books that are going to decline in value, and you're going to miss your best opportunity to sell them on most of those books. And if you add up all the money you miss by not selling all those, hot tomorrow keys, then you're probably making less money overall, than sitting on a book and waiting for it to cash in.
As people get more serious, or not everybody does, some people become very serious about the monetary aspect of comics, like me, and I catch a lot of flack for it. I'm not a real collector. I'm hurting the hobby. All this other crap. I hear it all the time. It doesn't bother me. People will DM me out of the blue and tell me this honestly, but I don't really care. But I think a lot of people are in the modern game are doing it for fun. Like I said, it's fast paced and it's fun, and they're hoping they can get some value. But a lot of people don't have the resources or the interest in the older stuff or bigger stuff or massive outputs of money. They don't want to put out that much. They can't afford to. They're not trying to do that. So they're in a game that's affordable and fun and fast-paced and exciting and easy to keep up with, and you can maintain with anybody else in that market without having any specific, there's some luck involved and some hustle, and it's a different market. I think if you are really, really serious about making money in comics and you really want to build investments and like get rich or buy a house, modern market's not where to do it, obviously. Silver Age would be the top of that list, and then bronze and gold probably next. But I think a lot of people just do it because it's fun, it's exciting, and yeah, that's awesome. I love to see people excited about being in the hobby. It doesn't have to be always about money, but the more expensive a book is, the more I think it is a good idea to consider the monetary aspects. Because if you're starting to lay out 500, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 on a book, you want to get that money back at some point.
Well, okay, so I'm going to shift gears a little bit on you. I spoke to a comic shop owner this past weekend, a guy that I frequent his shop a lot. I've been selling him some books, and I buy books from him. We do trades. He's a real great guy, all back issue shop. He has been buying some more modern collections, but he's not like signed up with Diamond or anything like that, right? But he has bought some modern collections and therefore has some more recent books as well. But for the most part, it's all back issues, two big rooms of nothing but comics in boxes and bins and wall books and just everything. Roger would love it. It's a great back issue. It's just what you're looking for. You want, everything from 90s Batman to 50s Batman, just whatever you need, right? Great stuff. Anyway, talking to the guy, I mentioned some of this in my video that I posted earlier today. And basically, he's buying this collection as he goes from an elderly gentleman who is, for lack of a better phrase, is on his way out, right? So he's starting to get forgetful. He's in his upper 80s. So his daughter is helping him. His wife, I think, is since passed, but his daughter is helping him to sell his collection because it was his. He wanted to sell it while he was still alive. So he wanted to recover what he could of the money that he had invested all these years in building this collection. He wanted to recover it and share it with his family and enjoy it himself some as well. There's some things he wants, some things he wants to do while he still can. And so he's selling off his entire collection. And it's all Silver Age and above. He has complete runs of ASM, complete runs of Fantastic Four, Journey into Mystery, X-Men, mostly Marvel. So complete runs of all the Silver Age runs and complete runs of Bronze, complete runs of, everything. He's got just about every key plus everything in between from Silver Age to modern and was still actively collecting and is only now starting to stop. So, there's something to be said for that type of collection. I mean, when you say at some point people are going to monetize their collection, most people, and most people are at some point going to see, okay, what is this value worth? Then, for me, when I look at my collection, I try to make it something that's more easy and fluid for my family when I go. But honestly, I probably will sell it off before I go. Like if I can't read them anymore, if I can't see them anymore, then I'll probably let most of them go. Because there's got to be something else I can enjoy more.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Faculties I have left, and that's kind of where this guy's at. So, but boy, can he talk about all the stuff that he'll take every book and tell you where he bought it, how much he paid for it, how long he had it, tell you a story about it. It took him 3 hours to get through his Fantastic Four run because he had so many stories to tell about each book.
Wow,
so
that's cool. That's really cool. I would love to meet this guy.
Oh yeah, that's what's going on there. So anyway, I just wonder how you feel about that, DS. If is that the same type of monetization that you're talking about? Because I'm putting a collector. I mean, we both have collector's insurance. I'm putting a monetary value on my collection daily and keeping up with it.
Yeah.
But it's not the goal of my collection is to increase that number.
Well, my goal, not everybody has the same goals. That's what I'm saying. But my goal is to reach a certain amount of value with my collection and then sell most of it and, maybe buy a house or something. Do you know what I mean? So it is literally an investment for me. But yeah, I mean, there's an end point of a collection for everybody. I hear people say, "Oh, I'm going to take them to the grave with me." Okay, that you can say that, but I mean, you need a realistic sort of. At some point, you need to think about realistically what are you going to do because you're going to pass on. Your family's going to be left with a collection if you don't sell it before then. And if you just don't care, then that's fine. And if you want to have some value there, it's a nice thing to build value over the years and then have something that's a nice amount of value. And, I look at collections, on a regular basis, but not often. And, most of the collections I look at or that are out there that people trying to sell are their 90s books. And they're just not worth anything. And I know I and other people look at these collections and just pass on them because they're just worthless. And, you're collecting modern comics. If you get to a point where you're trying to sell your collection, you're not going to draw much interest. It's sort of the same thing when you're out there looking at collections and it's just not like solid keys. It's just, it doesn't have a lot of value out there. Dealers don't want to buy it. I pass on them, and the guy's like, well, several people have looked already, and I've cut the price. And I was like, yeah, I'll give you like $50. And they get insulted because they think it's worth, I looked at one, the guy wanted like $1,200, and he had 2 long boxes of moderns, and there was nothing in it really. And I was like, he took his time. I was like, I'll give you $100. And he's like insulted. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to insult you, but it's not here. It's a lot of time and effort to not make anything off these. And he thought he looked them all up on like Key Collector app or something. And he averaged the value of them and he came up with $1,200, and it was nowhere near that. That's fine if you're not trying to build value, but if you're collecting, you might as well try to build value is how I feel about it. But if you're not, that's cool too. But, if you're collecting, there's an opportunity to build value at the same time. So for me, I'm like, well, why not do that? I like book A that has no investment value, and I like book B, which has good investment value. Well, if it's all the same to me, I'll pick B because I like them both, and one has good investment value. So why not choose one?
Because some people are going to buy A and B, and then and there's so much misinformation about what makes book B that more valuable, that there's a pitfall to that too. You could be buying the wrong book, if you will. History is going to make liars out of a lot of us when it comes to which books we think are valuable. Well,
yeah, and I will never begrudge anyone for selling a book that they like if the price is right, because that's what I'm saying. So if you can lock in a sale price now on a book and make that money, instead of holding it forever and then it ultimately isn't worth anything, why not sell it now? So I sell a lot of big books that I like because I can make a big profit or get some money out of it now. Why not do that? I can always get another one or buy something else. It's just a different way of looking at it. But the more you put out for a book, the more you want to make sure that value remains intact. Because if you're putting out $2,000 for a book, you could put $2,000 out for a freaking used car or, 2 months of rent or something. You can get something in your real life for $2,000. So if you're sinking it into a comic book, you're going to want to be more sure that your value is staying intact than if you're just dropping, $10, $20, $50. That's sort of like an expense, just having fun. But if you're putting out big money, you want that money to be intact. Doesn't matter who you are, because it's a lot of money. I'd rather put out a lot of money once than a little money multiple times and just get something bigger. And I have less books. I have less action over here at DS Comics headquarters because I'm all the time. I buy a fair amount of stuff, but I don't have a pull list. I buy maybe 1 book a week or something, and it's usually just a flip book. I bought that Tomb of Dracula I got this week. I don't buy a lot, but I have good value in my collection, and I really enjoy it anyway. I don't need a big collection for myself.
Yeah, I think we should hear from Roger. He spent $2,000 on his last car, and he spent $2 on his last book. So what do you think, Roger?
Oh, that's fairly close. Actually, I'm very close to paying off the vehicle. Hopefully later this year. I don't spend a lot of money on my comics, as you know. That's just not the way I do business with the comics, because I don't care about the condition really, so that doesn't really matter to me. I want to have the comic and the memory that if you look at the chat, we were talking here with Collecting Chaos and Comic Mag Musings, and sometimes the memories and the nostalgia that is behind what we do with this hobby is just as important as the monetary. I don't disagree with, if you have the opportunity with the knowledge and you enjoy it like DS does, of flipping comics and making money and then using that money to get other comics that you enjoy, I think that's fine because there's still enjoyment there. But I see people that are so stressed, these CGC unboxings, I'm sure you've seen them, right? And if it's a 9.6, it's like the world has come crashing down upon them. And to me, that means that you're not enjoying the hobby there. It means your emotions are overcoming, the enjoyment that you should be having in the hobby. When I invest in something, I don't invest in comics because I know that I have a passion and a love for it that would cloud my judgment as an investment. So I invest in mutual funds and stocks and real estate, things that I know that I don't have a hobby or a personal attachment to. So that's the way I look at things, right? Because I have a personal attachment, it precludes me from using this hobby for monetary gain.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, look, everybody should invest in something with what you can and try to build some value over time. Comics is one way to do that, but there's a lot of other ways, real estate, stocks, other stuff. But, my hobby is self-sustaining at this point. I don't put any outside money into it. And I actually took some money that I made off selling books and put some in the stock market recently and made a nice gain and sold the stocks. And with the gains from that, which is now like 2 levels in of gains from investing, I used that money to buy the Fantastic Four #1 that I will get someday when the USPS is back up.
You still haven't gotten it. Oh,
yeah. So that FF1 I got, which I feel like that was a good price for that. It initially came from money I made flipping books, which I used to buy stocks, and then I flipped the stocks, but I sold the stocks and made a nice profit on that. And then I rolled it over the profits from that into the FF1, which I will then sell and make more on it. So it's sort of like rolling along, but comics is not the only thing you can invest in. And in fact, I went from comics to stocks back to an FF1, and where I'll go from there, who knows? But that FF1 essentially is like all gravy. It's amazing. You know what I mean? I make $500 a week at my job. It's not like I'm,
and DS says there's not a lot of action going on over at the DS.
Yeah.
Sounds like, balls to the walls action. Plus, you got to realize he's got to fit in time to troll the local drive-throughs and parking lots to look for loose change. He's got a busy week.
Yeah.
Look, I've had the last 6 months, I have sold, probably in the last year, I've sold a lot of books. I've rolled some of that into stocks. I've sold the stocks, and I put some of it back into comics and some of it into an FF1, some of it back into like the comic fund, the investment fund, and some of it into an FF1. And yeah, so I feel like it's working. I have an FF1 that's like gravy, and I got a good price on that. And I'm watching the prices of that go up now, and I'm going to sell that at some point, and then I'll have a nice chunk of change to work with. And what I'll do with it, I don't know. I'll reinvest it, and I'll probably use some of it to do something fun and just blow it. And then the rest I'll invest it in something else. I don't know. It's fun, and I feel like it's productive. But I don't always win. There's losses too. This has been a good winning streak monetarily over the last few months, but it's not always like that. There's cold streaks too. It's not always.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But it's fun and it's productive. And as long as you're having fun, that's the most important part, because there's nothing worse than going through life miserable.
Yeah, so that was my point exactly. That when I see these folks, I feel for them, right? That they're so emotionally involved that when something doesn't go their way, it's just disheartening to me. And to me, that's not a hobby. To me, that is more of a like a job or a burden. But the way you do it, I see that you enjoy it. I see that the way that you manipulate things, you sell some, you buy some, and you find these good deals, and then you reinvest it. I can see that you enjoy that, almost like a day trader, which has that, like I have a friend who used to do that, and when he would make a profit in a day, he'd send me a message, hey, it was more like you were saying. It's more like the excitement and the rush kind of thing
exactly.
than anything else, and that's cool to me as well.
And you can get that same enjoyment and the same rush out of being a run collector of whatever and completing a run or working on it or any number of other things in the hobby. But there's a lot of frustration out in the hobby, and I think it's from people who are trying to compare themselves to other collectors or keep pace with other collectors or the hobby. And if you're getting frustrated and not having full enjoyment, you should re-examine how you're doing it, because you're doing something wrong if you're not having fun. But if you're having fun, then you're good to go, and you can have fun buying massive books one at a time and flipping them for profit. You can have fun doing run collecting, or setting up at a con to sell books, or just whatever you want to do. As long as you're having fun is the most important point. I have fun messing with the monetary side of it, which makes me sort of less honorable out there among the moral superiority. But that's fine by me. But I mean, I'm having fun, and some of them are casting their salty aspersions on me and show that I'm having fun and they're not. So really, who's the one who's doing it wrong? You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, that's me right there. Exactly. There you go.
All right, big time. All right, guys. It's an hour and a half. We wasted all these poor people's times. They didn't even know that they're missing another great show that's probably ended or started, or who knows. They're probably going 6 hours off the rails. So let's say our goodbyes, and we'll reconvene next year for the or is it next? Wait, would it be?
No, we got one more before the new year.
Oh, do we? Okay.
Yeah, right. I don't think I can make that one because my daughter's coming into town that night, so I'll be out.
Okay. All right. Let's just say no show next week and a show back in 2 weeks. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah,
All
that'll
right.
work. Yeah, that'll work.
All right. We'll come back when Roger is available, and we may have our first guest of the new year.
Oh, nice.
I got a long list of short names. People that are
We're short list of long names.
Or short list of long names. It's one of those, Roger. I can never remember. Oh, man. I would, we could stay on longer, I guess. If you guys have time, we could. All right. Oh, well, there ends that party. Or does it start? Every other delivery service is running behind, but Liz is on time. So we'll catch you next time. Go ahead, DS. Tell us what's going on your channel. This is the part where everybody signs off. Tell us what's going on your channel, DS.
Well, I don't have anything going on my channel. I randomly will put out a video when the mood strikes me. Right now, I can just tell you I have multiple things on the way, and some of them are pretty important things to me, big things. And the post office is like frozen molasses right now. I've got stuff that was shipped 2 weeks ago, and it looks like it hasn't even moved. So I don't know what's up. I probably am not, probably have to wait until after the holidays before it starts to open back up again. But that's frustrating. So that's holding up a lot of stuff because I have a lot of stuff on the way, including FF1, FF48, other keys, other stuff, CGC submissions. I got 2 CGC boxes on the way back. So, yeah, that's frustrating, but they'll get here.
Oh, man.
Wow. We hope you good luck on all your shipping woes. What do you got, Roger, going on?
Well, I'm only going to have one more video this year, probably Wednesday. I don't think there are any new contests out, because of the holidays, but I'll probably just do a really quick recap. And then I'm going to show everybody the Atlas comics that I bought from Collecting Chaos here in the chat, which finished off my Atlas Seaboard collection, except for a couple of Vickies, which I'm missing, but I'll track those down eventually. And then I'll sign off until the new year, probably until the chat in 2 weeks.
Okay. I don't have actually, I'm going to try and do some more informational videos coming up because all my books are lost in the mail. So they're not all lost, but they're, it's coming in so slowly. So I'll probably do, I think I have a cover I need to marry, and a couple of repair videos, and then some other things. So I'll probably have some nice little filler videos going through, and I'm only halfway done with my slimming the collection. So I have to work on that. If Bill and DS, and I know Roger wants to abstain from that series, but if anybody wants to help me with that, hit me up on the time that you're free, and we'll get that done.
I'll go on there. I'm just saying that you're not going to get rid of nearly as much with me on there.
Well, maybe I need you on there. What do you think about that?
All right. That's a deal.
I want to recognize Area 51 Mike for being here, and also Collecting Chaos. Good to have you guys here. And of course, Bill is still hanging around like a hair in a biscuit. So good to have you there. So that's what I got going on. So DS, what do you want to tell the fine folks at home?
Just to do your homework and do your own thing, and don't try to do what other people are doing.
Sounds good. What about you, Roger?
Yeah, that's good advice, actually, I think. And everybody have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas, joyous Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. That already happened. Be safe out there. There's stuff going on all over the place besides the usual people, inebriated and so forth. And we certainly want everybody to be back here safe and sound for the new year.
Yes, absolutely. And from one of those fellow usual inebriationists, I'd like to say, just have a merry holiday, kiss your family and your loved ones, and just enjoy each other's company as much as you can. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you all next year. On behalf of my cohorts, I just want to say, have a great holiday season, and we'll catch you next time on a No Faces Comic Chat. Remember to read a comic and don't apologize for the glare. Bye-bye.